Everyone keeps saying AI is failing. Hallucinations, wrong answers, unreliable outputs. That's the narrative. And it sounds convincing because it's visible. But that's not where the real failure is. AI is not breaking because the models are bad. It's breaking because the systems around those models are poorly designed. And if you don't fix that, better models won't fix your production problems. This is how most teams think about AI systems. Input goes in, the model processes it, output comes out, and everything is optimized around this loop: latency, accuracy, cost. But here's the problem: in production, this is not the system. This is just the front half of the system. The real system begins after the output is generated. So, what actually happens after the output? In most systems, nothing structured. There is no control over what happens next. No validation of whether the output is even usable. No verification before it triggers something. No replay mechanism to understand what happens later. No traceability across steps. So, what you end up with is something very simple: the system generates and then immediately acts. And that's where things starts to break. Here's why this problem is easy to miss. The model is the most visible part of the system. You can inspect it, measure it, debug it. So naturally, all attention goes there. But the real failure point is hidden. It sits at the boundary between output and execution. The boundary is broken. There is no checkpoint, no decision layer, no control, just a direct path from generated output to real world action. This is where failures actually happens. The model produces something that looks reasonable. The system assumes it's usable. That output crosses an uncontrolled boundary and turns into an action. Now something executes. A workflow triggers. An API is called. A decision is made. And this transition from output to execution is where failure enters the system. Let's make this real. A customer submits a complaint, a model summarizes it, the system auto tags severity. Now imagine the model incorrectly tags it as high. That tag directly triggers escalation. Support teams react, alerts fire, workflows kick in, all based on a wrong classification. Now, here's the real problem. Later, someone asks, why did this escalate? And the system can't answer. There is no replay, no trace, no record of of what the model saw, no record of how the decision was made, no checkpoint where it could have been stopped. At that point, the issue is not that the model was wrong. The issue is the system allowed that mistake to turn into an action. What's missing here is not intelligence, it's control. Output should not directly trigger execution. There needs to be a layer in between where outputs are validated, where actions are authorized, where decisions are logged and traceable. This is a difference between a system that generates and a system that governs execution. And most AI systems today don't have that layer. A reliable system looks different. The model still produces output, but that output doesn't go straight into execution. It passes through a control layer where it is validated, where it is authorized, where it is logged and can be replayed. No action executes without passing through control. That's the difference between a demo and the production system. So the question needs to change. Stop asking, why did the model fail? Start asking, why did the system allow that output to turn into an action? Because that's where responsibility sits. And that's where system design matters. If your system allows outputs to directly trigger actions without validation, authorization, and traceability, it's not production ready. It's unsafe by design.